Hi everybody, how are you doing? It's Easter Saturday 2020, so have a great Easter, whatever you're up to. Probably not a great deal, I should imagine. Um, Welcome to a very, very special episode, in fact, one that I really didn't even envisage I'd even make, barely 4 weeks ago now. It's the 50th anniversary. Not in terms of years, but in terms of volumes. For Now That's What I Call Music franchise. So we say happy 50th birthday to Now That's What I Call Music. Did they have any idea when they started this journey off back in 1983 that well into the 21st century and beyond it? Well, I say and beyond. I imagine they'll still be doing these even after global warming and the COVID virus and pollution and war and pestilence have all finished off humanity. There'll be a bunch of people still listening to Now albums. They really are that timeless. And I feel I can say that at this point, 50 in. Like I say, I wasn't planning on doing this, but I followed them one by one. I thought, well, I'll just do one more. And before you know it, we're at 50 volumes. So what an achievement. How's music changed in that time then? Well, when I go through these at the end, I feel it's always fairly consistent how many classic songs I've come up with, and that's really as true as it was from now 1 up to now 49. There's a few volumes that have had significantly fewer, and a few volumes that have had significantly more timeless classics. There's been a few weak volumes and a few really strong volumes. All in all, I think the first, quote, weak volume goes as far back as now 6, certainly relative to the ones before it. And the most recent, quote, strong volume, maybe even now 47 or now 48. So certainly the variety of music has never been greater, and the volume of classics, I think, is more or less the same. I've said before, I think there's slightly more pop music to go around than ever before, so there's more of everything. This one, Kylie, which kicks off this 50th anniversary volume. She's an artist who's a veteran of Now's, going back into the 80s. Made her first appearance way back on Now 11, and she's been here throughout. I've not been a big fan of her stuff. I've glossed over a lot of it. The odd tune I thought's been okay. This one, though, is an undeniable classic, written by Kathy Dennis, which explains why it's such a good song. She's a great songwriter. And it's had 137 million views, still popular to this day. Could this be the apotheosis of Kylie music? That's a word I like using if you watch these. I've got my buzzwords. We have paradigm shifts, we have apotheosis, and we have meh. That one comes up quite often as well. So, that kicks things off in a fairly good style, and it's followed by Westlife, and it's their first appearance, and it's their version of Uptown Girl. Normally, I wouldn't play such things because I normally skim over the boy bands, but I'm feeling charitable because I believe this was a charity release. Was it Comic Relief? And I think it's worth just saying hello to Westlife, even if it's a very brief hello. Plus, of course, it's a classic song, which was in itself a hit at the same time Now 1 came out, i.e. November, December 1983. The song itself being Uptown Girl by Billy Joel. I'm just trying to think, has Billy Joel made a Now? I don't think he has. So this is the nearest we get to Billy Joel on one of these. It's had 31 million views, which is pretty good. I'm not going to be dwelling on Westlife really, but this song I think is worthy of a play. And this is followed by another big kind of party. It's very wedding disco so far, this one. Real kind of wedding disco song. DJ Otzi. And he's an unlikely character. He gives hope to all aging, chubby people who are really too old to be pop stars. Somehow he managed to do it. He did it a couple of times across Europe. He's actually Austrian. I don't even know if he does DJ or if he just sings. He's a kind of entertainer, really. And the song, Hey Baby, it's a very old song. In fact, it was a hit, firstly, for Bruce Chanel. So that's Hey Baby by DJ Otzi. It was originally a hit in 1962, so 39 years later, DJ Otzi resuscitates it. Right, we really are in novelty mode here. Funnily enough, I don't really have a problem with out-and-out novelty records. Well, sometimes. Everybody Gone Be Gone I had a problem with. At least they're not bland. Mambo number 5 is back, this time by Bob the Builder. I really kind of lost for words for once. I don't know what to say about that. Mambo number 5, Bob the Builder. That is followed up by another cover, another fairly respectable one. It's a difficult song to really screw up. Steps and their version of Chain Reaction, originally written by the Gibbs, the Bee Gees, performed by Diana Ross. So in fact, it's the second Bee Gees, well, at least I think it's the second, because obviously Tragedy song that they'd had. And yeah, it's a fairly consistent version actually. Okay, 5, Let's Dance. That's the kind of boy band I've really got nothing to say about. They might have had their odd moment, but not Let's Dance, not the Bowie song. Probably quite glad it's not, to be honest. Right, Sophie Ellis-Bextor and Take Me Home. It's pretty kind of quite housey, but quite sophisticated. I do like Sophie. So yeah, it's pretty classy. It's quite good. And that is followed by first appearance on a Now. We'll get this one lined up because the Fugees have been around for years and years. But somehow they've never quite made a Now. So here's Wycliffe Jean on his own and Perfect Gentleman. This is a strange kind of one. I call it post-hip-hop because it's kind of from hip-hop, but it's way more than just sort of a standard hip-hop tune. It's quite fast for a start. It's got sort of those quite fast post Planet Rock beats that Jordan Knight and people have shown us a few times. So they're coming in more and more now. It's just sort of a faster kind of groove than normal hip hop. And it's got a kind of reggae-ish vocal thing as well. So that's Wycliffe. And that's had a very respectable 9 million views. Okay, one that I thought would be shit. I thought they were a boy band by the sound of it, but I listened back to it because I do like to listen back just to check, and I was actually pretty impressed. It's City High, and What Would You Do? And lyrically, it takes us back to similar ground that Moni Love was covering on Now 24 with Born to Breed. It's a song all about being a single parent, and it's actually got some really good lyrics. And it was a real pleasant surprise. It's more kind of R&B than boy band. It's not even really boy band at all. I just think City High sounds like a school thing, doesn't it? Sounds like some school band, like Glee or something, but it's not. So don't judge a book by its cover. Ditto Blue. Well, no, they are more of a boy band, but they're kind of more sophisticated. I'm never going to be a really big Blue fan, but I don't turn their stuff off, and it does seem really well sung, and it's got a bit of sophistication. So yeah, that's one that I kind of respect. Kind of ditto to Nelly Furtado, Turn Off the Light. I just find her voice really, really annoying. It's this kind of whiny voice, but the music's okay, I suppose. It's quite catchy, but there's just something a bit irritating about her voice. I'm sure she says the same about mine. Right, here's a weird one. Is it the first out-and-out skateboarding song we've had on one of these? We've had some that have been kind of broadly aligned with skate punk and stuff, but Heaven is a Half Pipe by OPM. That's the first song overtly about skateboarding, and I sit here in my Nike SBs, and not that I could on a skateboard for life, but respect, I should give it a go, actually. I'll probably be better than I think. But yeah, that's a good song, and it's quite a good piece of pop culture circa 2001. Right, talking of pop culture, here's a massive song. This is one of the biggest indie or alternative rock hits of the year, and it's also... I don't know if this song was in the film. I think it was at the very end. There's a film I'm going to totally recommend. The song is Dandy Warhols and Bohemian Like You. And this is basically very kind of Stones with distortion turned up, and very kind of hipster, but kind of knowingly so. The movie what I'm going to recommend is called Dig, and it's such a great film. It's a documentary, and it's basically about two bands, the Dandy Warhols and their old friends, the Brian Jonestown Massacre. And what's really interesting is that 20 years later, it's Brian Jonestown Massacre who are still kind of going strong. And I guess if there's a thing about the hare and the tortoise, they were almost like the tortoise. They plodded along, they took loads of wrong turnings, they'd fight on stage at kind of music biz, extravaganzas and stuff. They had all sorts of problems with smack and stuff. Dandy Warhols, they were like the hare, they rushed to victory. In the short term, it looked like they were the big winners. But I think in the long term, you'd say that, Brian Jonestown had maybe got more lasting legacy. They never had a big hit single like this, but in a way it was the very bigness of this single as a pop single that maybe did further Dandy Warhols long term. I don't know, what do you think? Watch your film and let me know if you've seen it. It's just a great film if you want to see some really good kind of behind the scenes footage of rock and roll hedonism, like I say, fighting, mad parties and stuff, just band politics, band rivalries and stuff. And the Dandy Warhols, they come across as a bit self-satisfied, but I'm sure it's all a bit contrived, and they're kind of playing at being a hipster thing. That's very much the vibe you get from this song. But yeah, it's a rocker of a kid. So there we go, Dandy Warhols. Right, okay, weird culture clash now. Talking of this kind of skate punk stuff, Alien Ant Farm and their version of Smooth Criminal, Michael Jackson's song. He's only ever made one now, I think, and that was an old reissue with Farewell My Summer Love. So he's mainly been conspicuous from his absence. Janet, we can't get rid of, but Michael's been a stranger. So if you like Michael Jackson, you'll either love or hate Alien Ant Farm's version of Smooth Criminal. They've obviously rocked it up, but they've kept the song and they've kept the urgency of it more or less the same. All that Annie, are you okay? All that stuff. Right, Sum 41, continuing this skate punk thing now, which is really going mental, isn't it? Fat Lip. It's basically fast punk, pop punk with an element of rap in it. It's pretty good actually. Big fan of it. I'm a fan of it, not big fan. Wheatus, A Little Respect. Now that first appeared on Now 13 with the Erasure version, which I didn't think was one of Erasure's best songs, but undoubtedly popular. Wheatus is a Teenage Dirtbag I really like. Similarly, I'm not a big fan of their version of this. It's kind of interesting, I suppose. But if you don't like a song, unless someone can really, really reinvent it on the cover, you're probably not going to normally like the cover either. Okay, that was the Dandies, and here's another debut on a Now for a song that I really do like, and I believe this was their first appearance. Certainly wasn't their first single. They'd had a fair few at this point. It is Travis with Sing. This is a lovely one now, very much in the Coldplay mould. And looking back to some of the Nows of the 90s, you can see the origins of this sort of stuff with things like Cast and Embrace, and you can kind of see the roots of it, and now it's having a kind of second life. So 23 million views, very haunting song, not the best lyrics in the chorus. You sing, 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 for the love you bring, 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 or something. But, sometimes you don't need Shakespeare and Chaucer and Oscar Wilde. You just need a good melody, something that sounds good and kind of resonates. And we all love to sing. Well, I do. So, there's Travis. Okay, that's followed up by a rather strange jump. Ain't It Funny? Jennifer Lopez, also her first appearance. Decidedly Latin, it's not bad. She's obviously a very, very talented lady, singer and actress, and not bad looking either. Ain't It Funny? Not totally memorable, but not bad song. Right, Take My Breath Away by Emma Bunton, who I make the blandest of the Spice Girls, and that's quite a contest, really. It's bland and blander, really. And unfortunately, it's not the Berlin song. That would have been quite interesting, at least, although she'd have probably ruined it. Take My Breath Away. Not very fortunate title in these corona times, but nah, it's just boring. Doesn't leave me breathless. Gabrielle is back yet again. Lady Gabrielle. Don't need the sun to shine. I've been so effusive about her stuff, but this one's not quite as interesting. It's okay and it's not bad because it's Gabrielle, but it's not one of her tip-top ones. Oh my gosh, the Lighthouse family are back. I thought we'd long ago seen the last of them. I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. One. What can I say? I mean, I feel like a bit guilty because I've not even described their stuff. It's just bland. In a way, they wrote the playbook for all the bland late 90s stuff to follow. Everything I don't like really stems from the Lighthouse family. As I said, I like novelty songs. I like hardcore songs. I like quite weird songs. Some people might say this Travis is bland, I suppose. Maybe it's just a matter of taste. But I find this one uplifting. I don't find Lighthouse stuff uplifting. Anyway, right, random time now. What if Kate Winslet? Was this from A Christmas Carol? It's undoubtedly, again, it's another one who's really talented. Like Jennifer Lopez, she can sing, she can act. She's kind of a living legend. And I think it was from A Christmas Carol, this song, but it's just really granny-ish. Okay, onto the dance floor. Is it EO? Double IO? EIEIO? Rapture? That's okay. It's not too bad, it's not too great. It's quite good actually. She's got a bit of an annoying voice, like Nelly Furtado. I've noticed some of the singers are starting to get really annoying. But again, maybe it's just a matter of taste. As always, let me know what you think in the thoughts. I don't claim to be like the voice of God here. Just a bloke giving his opinions on some 20-year-old songs. And I'm fascinated to know what you guys think, as always, because music's a communal thing and it's about, like, you know, the group thing sometimes. And particularly these videos, I'm interested in what we all think as a society. Thank you, Travis. Okay, one that I listened back to again and I was really pleasantly surprised. Because this one I always remembered as a bit irritating and actually found it not irritating at all. This was Superman Lovers, featuring Manny Hoffman and Starlight. This is yet another French house thing. All started with Stardust, so I wonder if Stardust. I think I even called it Starlight once by mistake. Yeah, it's very much cut from the same cloth. It's filtery house, but it's actually a proper song, this one. It's not just a loop over and over again, filtered. I think this is something to do with Bob Sinclair as well, which makes his first appearance on her now. And it's a video, a really striking video if you remember it, with that potato guy. He makes a tune, and he tries to tell his parents, and they're not interested. Just watching something on TV with his skeletons. So he finds a mouse, and he makes friends with the mouse. And then they go off into a rocket, but the mouse goes and he doesn't. It's a weird video, but it's a striking video. And it certainly helped the song achieve 28 million views. Good song, good video, really. Only thing I'm aware of that they did. And it's definitely seeing kind of a new direction with the house stuff now. Definitely going into the 21st century. Right, okay, we follow this one up with Little L. It's Jamiroquai back again. Moved his sound forward a bit. It's a bit more early 80s and late 70s sounding, but as always, it's funky as hell. You can certainly dance to it. So, yeah, Jamiroquai's back, and it's a great song, as always. Bootylicious, Destiny's Child, continuing their attempts at taking over world domination, already well on the way now. And that is followed by an interesting one, because we've not had any Eminem as yet. They seem to be holding out on that. So here we got his mates, D12, who he grew up with. And I think the story was that they all had a pact that whoever would make it famous first would help out the other guys. So it's very, very post-Eminem in style. And I would play it, but I'm going to play the one afterwards. So Purple Hills, check it, D12. Really good hip-hop. Censored to F, or censored to... on the Now album, as you can imagine. Right, as you know, my name is Adam, and every Adam needs to meet their Eve. This Eve wants to blow my mind. Will she do? Will she give me an apple? Will she tempt me? Well, she's brought in Gwen Stefani to help out. So, am I going to go over to the dark side of the serpent and all that? I don't know. 152 million views. Eve, yeah, let me blow your mind. This is just a classic jam, really. This is one of the R&B classics, I think. Having Glenn Stefani, Glenn Hoddle, having Gwen Stefani on it really adds something. So it's a nice bit of culture clash here. Yeah, really like this one. Forever popular. So, yep, thank you, Eve. And this is the apple, which I'm going to eat and get stuck in my throat. And then we'll have a couple of kids, caned and unable, probably. Anyway, right, okay. Now, Britney. Britney's changed a bit now. Lucky seems like a million years ago. I'm a Slave for You. Co-written by Pharrell Williams. And this one I wasn't sure about when it came out. I think like a lot of people, it's like, oh my God, what are you doing? What are you doing to yourself, Britney? But with all we know now, and with the way things develop, yeah, it's not bad actually. It's well produced, very well produced. It's got these kind of slightly discordant keyboards in it, and it does kind of capture up kind of feelings of a bit of cognitive dissonance, which again, you know, in terms of Britney's what I call psychodrama set to music, it's kind of a vital part of it. And I'm a Slave for You. It's got that kind of semi-sleazy sound in terms of the lyrics, but it also makes me think, is it about the music business? Is it a kind of metaphor for that? Yeah, just being a corporate slave. I don't know, maybe I'm reading that into it, but I like to think of it meaning that, and it kind of resonates on that level for me. So, yeah, I think I still kind of prefer the old Britney stuff, but I do accept that it was probably a prison in which she was feeling trapped as well. Everyone's got to experiment, so fair play. Okay, Misty, One Night Stand, less garage, more R&B, and I think I probably prefer their more garagey stuff, but it's classy. Talking of R&B, the R&B is really big on this one. Mary J. Blige, first time she's made it on one of these. Another one, very, very classy song. Family Affair, yeah, good stuff. Samantha Mumba, classy always, Baby Come On Over, not remembered. She had a real problem with writing and coming up with memorable songs. The fact that the only memorable thing she ever did was based on David Bowie. Needed better songwriting, I think. Right, Liberty, Thinking It All Over. If you remember, if you're really bothered by such things, they were the rejects from Pop Stars, another Hare and Tortoise one. Whereas Hearsay, or whatever they're called, would be the hare. Liberty were the tortoise. They were the outsiders, rejected. Had to change their name to Liberty X. Were actually significantly better and had significantly more hits. Make of that what you will. Right, Spice Time. Not Such an Innocent Girl. I don't know why she's bothering. She really didn't need to make records. It sounds like her heart wasn't in it. Just doing it for something to do, really. Victoria, a million other things she could be doing with her time at this point, and I think she realised that. So sort of half-hearted, half-assed version of the song. Right, I'm going to break the habit of a lifetime now. I'm going to do something I never ever do. I'm going to play a Louise song. I feel I owe it to her. I feel she's been here since way, way back. I think the first Louise appearance, I'm trying to do the maths, but it could have even been as long ago as now 32. So like 95. So she's been here a good 6 years now, and I've not played a single one of her songs. She's probably put about 10 songs on Now's. Here she comes up with a really incongruous but really, really good cover. Yup, it's Stuck in the Middle with You. And guess what? She's not totally ruined it. Far from it. She's done a really, really good version of it. I love this song anyway. Loads of people love it. It's such a well-known song. It's a classic song. Let me give you a bit of bio about the song itself. It was written by Jerry Rafferty and Joe Egan, and it was originally performed by Steelers Wheel back in 1973. Yeah, it's loads and loads of references in pop culture, probably most famously Reservoir Dogs. I don't quite know how Louise came to do a version of it, but I'm not complaining. She sings it well. Good music. So yeah, there we go. Now, it just goes to show, actually, doesn't it? I was saying earlier that if you don't like the original version of a song, you're probably not going to like the cover. And if you do like the original, you're going to be more, well, I think you're more likely to like a cover. Look at A Little Respect by Wheatus. I prefer Wheatus to Louise, but I prefer the song, Stuck in the Middle by Louise, to the song, A Little Respect by Wheatus. Interesting. There we go. Critical thinking. Right. Maybe one day I will find a Geri Halliwell song that I like. I don't, in an infinite universe of infinite possible realities and an infinite number of monkeys can come up with the word of Shakespeare. If there's an infinite volume of Now That's Like the Music's, in one of them there will be a good Geri Halliwell song, but it's not on this dimension, I'm afraid. All Stars. Okay, guilty pleasure time now. Things that go bump in the night. It's the nearest we get to a 90s or noughties version of Thriller or Rockwell. Somebody's Watching Me. Do you remember how in the mid-80s you had all those ghost songs? I love them. Amityville. Here's another one. We don't have many of them, and it's really nice to have a song that's about ghosts and stuff. It's fun. It's just kind of entertaining. And it was in Scooby-Doo, believe it or not. Yeah, it was Things That Go Bump in the Night by All Stars. I reckon you might quite like that if you're open-minded and you like kind of songs about ghosts and stuff. Check it out. Okay, it's remix time, and here's a time where I think the remix is actually significantly better than the original. The original's already been on and now. Here it is back again, one of the biggest club songs of all time. This remix, it's nothing very original as such. It's very, very much, I won't say trance by numbers, but they're good numbers. So it's just textbook, really. It's really got the euphoric chord progression and bangingness of kind of Euphoria circa 2001. It's kept the vocal melody, and I actually prefer it in this setting. A lot of people here are saying this is the best version so far, one of my favourite remixes of all time. I've never heard this remix before, and I love the original. This is just as good, maybe even better. This is so much less moaning, more trancey, much better. Love this remix, far better than the original. So there seems to be quite a consensus here. And a bit of pop trivia. The video apparently was filmed in York, just down the road from here, the O64. Haven't been on it for a while because I can't. But I'm looking forward to the days when I can. Anyway, that's Entrance, Set You Free. And we all want to be set free, I think. But I think we all understand lockdown. Anyway, Flawless and The Ones. That's pretty good, actually. That's quite kind of funky, almost funky house. Quite credible. Okay, now Daft Punk, unbelievably, I think it's their first appearance on a Now. I'm kind of tempted to play it, but I've got a lot to get through now. Suddenly, it's got really good. Digital Love. Yeah, it's kind of a bit atypical. It's not as out-and-out dancey, and in some ways, it's a real throwback to 70s stuff like Supertramp and ELO with the old-style vocoders and those sort of electric pianos. It's very quirky. It's very French. It's actually really good. Daft Punk, Digital Love. Pretty classic song. Okay, Groove Armada are back. They hit Hey Dirt now with Super Styling. I'll play a little bit of it because it's a really, really good tune. They're kind of magpies in a way. They kind of scout around for lots of different styles. And you'd be hard-pressed to think Super Styling was the same guys who did At the River. But it's definitely one of their best songs. It's got a kind of ragga vocal thing on it. And it's got it's a really good bass on it. One of those videos with lots of vocals at the start. Yeah, 28 million views. This takes me back to house parties in London. Where was I living? I was living in East Finchley at this time. My mate Jason, if you're watching, I know you used to love this one, Jay. We used to play this one a lot. Memories. Great song. Now, of a similar kind of era now, Two People, John Jack's movie, and I think that had a Tarantino connection, certainly the original. Was it Minnie Riperton or someone? The lady who did... who was it who did Two People song? It was in Jackie Brown, which is one of my favourite films of all time. Not Tina Turner. John Jack's Smoothie. And musically, this is one of those songs that it seems like the kind of hardware, like lots of sort of cutting and stuttering and glitching and stuff. Yeah, it's actually called Inside My Love by Minnie Riperton, and it's on the Jackie Brown soundtrack, which is a really, really good soundtrack. Highly recommended. Bloody good film as well. Okay, now, I think it's the first thing you'd really call grime, or the sort of missing link, really, between UK garage and grime. And it is So Solid Crew. Here was a real love it or hate it one. Again, I'm in the love it camp. I think this is a great piece of music. And I think it's a real paradigm shifter of a piece of music. I know the Sun newspaper, if you can call it that, hated it. How do I even know that? I just remember them railing against it. Not that I read the Sun. You can't help their headlines, so... yeah, it's a great way of doing music. Everyone's got 21 seconds to do their bit. And so everyone's just given a chance to kind of flow and to rhyme and to do their bit. The beat is so kind of minimalistic, but it really is, again, another use of that word, apotheosis. That apotheosis of this new kind of beat that would find its way to being grime. Hadn't quite yet, but I think this really locks it all in and basically just sets a template. It's a paradigm shifter and an apotheosis. There you go. 21 seconds. So Solid Crew. There we go. So this is now followed by, oh my god, Afro Man, Because I Got High. There was a joke song and a half. The joke wasn't quite so funny in that clip where he whacked a girl on stage. You ever see that? That was very sad, actually. I felt awful for the girl. I felt he was totally unforgivable what he did there. But I did kind of feel bad for him that they'd let a girl go up on stage. Security had just left him there. He wasn't really aware of what was going on. And the whole thing was very, very sad. And a far cry from the kind of jokes of Because I Got High. Maybe there's a lesson there. Anyway, yeah. Right, what an interesting album, actually. There's been a fair few that I've skimmed through, but there's been a lot of variety. I feel like the 1990s are kind of decreasing into the rearview mirror here now. We're very much coming into the 21st century. That said, there's not without a lot of covers, a lot of old songs redone, remixed and stuff. If we go through them, Kylie, yeah, that's probably her most classic, Can't Get You Out of My Head. Westlife, I'm never going to be a big Westlife fan, but Uptown Girl's a respectable cover of a great song. Hey Baby by Ozzy's kind of wedding disco jokes. Mambo Number 5, kids jokes. Chain Reaction, respectable cover. Perfect Gentleman by Wyclef's fairly interesting. City High, What Would You Do is better than I thought it would be. Heaven is a half pipe, kind of quirky. Bohemian Like You, Dandy Warhols, definitely. Smooth Criminal, Alien Anthem, interesting cover. Mayor cover, a little respect. Sing by Travis, yeah. Then Starlight, Superman Lovers is quite classic. For the ladies, Bootylicious. Little L by Jamiroquai is pretty good, but it's not one of his most well known. Purple Hills, D12, absolutely Eve, Let Me Blow Your Mind. Interesting, Britney, I'm a Slave for You. Family Affair, Mary J. Blige, classic R&B. Good cover, Louise, Stuck in the Middle with You. Interesting Oddity, Things That Go Bump in the Night, All Stars. Great remix, Set You Free and Trance. Digital Love, Daft Punk. Super Styling, Groove Armada. Two People, John Jack's Smoothie. 21 Seconds, So Solid Crew, and I guess for kind of jokes, Because I Got High. So yeah, this is a really good album, actually. Happy 50th birthday, now that's what I call music. And to get from You Can't Hurry Love by Phil Collins, which was song 1 on Now 1, to Because I Got High, Afro Man, which is the last song on Now 50. That's quite a journey indeed. And I've thoroughly enjoyed it so far. I hope you have. Shall I have a break, or shall I just carry straight on with Now 51? I feel like I'll carry straight on, but we'll see. We'll take them one by one. This has been a long video, but I make no apology for that. It is a special occasion. It's not every day you reach your 50th volume. So, yeah, many happy returns of the day. Now, that's what I call music. Thank you. See you later, everyone. You take care.